Hello everybody, I am Kai. I'm the head coach at Orange Theory Ladue in St. Louis, Missouri. Some of you guys I know, others, we are just meeting through this virtual connection, which is the way of the world right now. So, thank you for joining me this morning. We are here today. Instead of bringing you a live workout, I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a workshop. We do so much for our bodies, to our bodies, but do we understand what we're doing? So, instead of giving you that workout today, I wanted to give you a little bit of information that you can put to the side and then use your workouts to apply to the information we talked about today to make the changes you're hoping to see. So, good morning. Once again, I'm Kai. I am the head coach at Orange Theory Ladue in Missouri. I am also a pediatric nurse practitioner. So, I have the health and medicine background, the fitness background. I have a lot of information, done a lot of research on body composition, something that fascinates me. I was an ex-rower in college and then a marathon runner, and it was super important for me to understand body composition while I was trying to meet my needs for the different goals I was working on, whether that was rowing, running, or just being healthy overall. So, in order to help bring that information to you, today we're going to talk about body composition. So let's start off by saying what you will review in today's 20 to 30 minute talk. If you're going to join me for this talk, grab a cup of coffee, grab a chair, do what you need to do, a notepad, anything that's going to make you feel comfortable, especially if you're looking to write down some information to help you out in the future. So take a second, grab what you need. I'm going to review the objectives in just a second. All right, so here we go. What are we talking about today? Body composition. During this talk, we're going to review what body composition is in reference to an in-body scan. If you don't know what an in-body scan is, we are going to talk about that. But I'm definitely going to review the in-body so that you understand the different parts of body composition. From there, we're going to talk about what changes in terms of body composition can be expected, the time frame that you can expect to see those changes, especially when you're working on a specific goal. After that, I'll give just a brief time where I'm going to educate you on some potential behavior changes and opportunities that can basically affect overall body composition. Not going to talk a lot about very specific details. I apologize. I am not a dietitian. I don't have a degree as a registered dietitian. So therefore, I can give you some basic information, some ideas of where to look, but I'll definitely give you the resources you need so that you can look further in something if you have questions. All right, so those are going to be the key objectives we're going to hit in today's talk. So once again, in-body will be something we will review. We will not necessarily be talking details about nutrition. You can always ask questions if you have them, but that's what you're going to hear today from me. All right. So, body composition, what is it? It's a way of estimating what your body is actually made up of. Here we are, top to bottom. We know we've got skin, we know we have bones, we know we have muscle, we've got fat. But when we refer to body composition, what is it? What are we talking about? And what is the in-body? If you've never heard of an in-body, this is a bioelectrical impedance analysis machine. So what that does, it allows you the opportunity to measure what your body is made of by sending waves through your body. Those waves then assess how much of your body is made up of fat versus muscle, bones, and so forth. So the in-body scan tells you the different components of your body based on this wave analysis, okay? So it is a great way to track body composition, to assess body composition, and I want you to use this tool as a way to test yourself, to see where you're at, to find a marker in time, and then over time, see what change you can make. So kind of using it like a benchmark. If you ever go to Orange Theory, we do benchmark challenges all the time there. That is where we measure a performance. And then over time, we remeasure that performance to see the improvement that you've made. Think of the in-body just like that, a way to measure your change over time. Okay, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you've never had an in-body scan done before, you are a member at Orange Theory. There are in-body scans at most Orange Theory locations. If you aren't a member, as I just said, most studios do have an in-body. So when we are done with this quarantine, when you are allowed or available, head on into an Orange Theory and ask about how you can get your InBody scan done. Okay, so we will review the results you receive after you do an InBody. So what this means, you're testing your body composition, you get a set of results. I'm gonna go through those results and interpret each piece by piece so you really know the information you're getting when you do that scan. As I already mentioned, I really want you to think of this as a trend. Lots of people can get pretty discouraged by one single number, one single measurement, but I want you to keep in mind, just like anything else, it's not the exact, it's more about the trend. So if you were to go and run a mile today and you ran an 8-minute mile today and you thought, man, that's really weird. I usually run a 7-minute mile. How come I ran an 8? Maybe that's just that day. It's a small point in time, which is helpful, but we want to measure that point in time compared to another point in time, and the improvement is what we're looking at. Okay, so let's start from the top. What is body composition? As I mentioned, body composition is telling you what your body is made of. We kind of listed a few things, but we're gonna break it down in a little bit of a pyramid. Here's your entire body. We're gonna break it down into two components. You have fat mass and you have lean mass. That's how your InBody scan results are going to come out, telling you your fat mass and your lean mass. Well, fat mass, what is that? That's pretty obvious. It's the amount of your body that is made up of fat. Lean mass is comprised of muscle, bone tissue, and organs. So that number is essential organs and parts of your body. The fat mass, not so much. So we're gonna go through each piece by piece from here. Let's start off with body fat. That is the number everybody wants to know about, everybody talks about, and there's a good reason for it, okay? Body fat is probably the most important number that you're looking at when you're getting your results from that InBody scan or when you're assessing your body composition. Why is body fat so important? Well, again, that number is telling you how much of your body is made up of fat. So you can do a weight on the scale, and that weight may say you are 140 pounds. Body fat, I would like to know how much of those 140 pounds is fat, okay? Again, this number is going to be a percentage and a pound. So the percentage is going to tell you what percentage of your body is made up of fat. The pound is going to tell you the actual amount of mass that is comprising, or that is body fat on your body, okay? After that, I want you to think about the fact that body fat is so important to think about and to trend, not just because we care about our physical appearance. Of course, that's important. We all care about that. But the other piece is that body fat is inversely related to longevity of life. So what does that mean? Let's make that make sense. Obesity. People that struggle with obesity, there's a direct correlation with obesity and a shorter lifespan. So if we reverse the true and you have a lower body fat percentage, you're gonna have a higher lifespan. So that's the inverse ratio I'm talking about. So that's why we care so much about body fat. We at Orange Theory and in general are looking to try to achieve a body fat that's in what we call the healthy range. So when you get your results from your InBody scan, you're gonna see a percentage, you're gonna see a pound mass number of fat that it determined on your analysis of your body composition. What do we do with that information? How do we know if that's good? How do we know if that's bad? You're striving to be in the healthy range. So what do I mean by healthy? There is a range based on age, sex, gender, on what amount of body fat is considered healthy, okay? So your goal when you're asking, well, where do I want to fall, is in that healthy range. On the InBody scanner, that will show as green. If you do not have access to that, or you are more interested in knowing the scales, you can definitely go to the American College of Sports Medicine. They will list the different ranges on body composition by age and sex. So somebody who's a little bit younger should have a higher muscle mass and lower body fat than somebody who's a little bit older. Those numbers will be reflected on the chart. So once again, if you don't have access to an InBody and you want to know what's a healthy range, go ahead and head to the American College of Sports Medicine. You'll be able to access those charts there. So we're looking for healthy when it comes to body fat percentage. Let's move on. After body fat, you're gonna also get a number that is weight. All right, I feel like this is the one that most people are the most familiar with, and in fact, it is probably the number that most people trend and use as a determinant of their overall level of fitness or athleticism or health. Unfortunately, it is in fact the least informative when it comes to overall health and fitness. Why do you ask? Well, weight just tells me how much all of the parts of me weighs. That does not tell me if I'm mostly fat, mostly muscle. So therefore, I don't know that I'm necessarily healthy or unhealthy if I just look at a single pound. Yes, there is a correlation that if you are on a lower weight or in a healthy weight range, you're likely to be a little bit more healthy. But again, I challenge you on that one because there is such a thing as what I would like to call as skinny fat. What does that mean? You're lean, you're thin, you don't weigh very much, but you don't have a lot of muscle mass and you actually have a high body fat percentage. Again, that body fat correlates with a decreased lifespan. So I would challenge you to adjust your body composition and what you're made of. So going back, weight. Weight tells us how much everything altogether weighs. There is no correct weight. Lots of times we think, oh, for my age, I should weigh about 130 pounds. Or as a female at my age, I should weigh X. Again, I would challenge you here because you have no idea whether that is mostly fat or mostly muscle. Let me give you an example. You can have two people, both people 5'7". One person is 140 pounds. The other person is 140 pounds. So now we have two individuals that are both the same height and the same weight. Person A over here has a body fat percentage of 23. Person B over here has a body fat percentage of 40%. They weigh the same, but one is significantly higher on their body fat compared to the other. So I would challenge you to think about the fact that person A is actually healthier and their body composition is more reflective of health than person B. So while weight is a good thing to trend, I wouldn't use it as the end all be all here. Better yet, with that information, your weight and your goals, meaning whether you're looking to lose weight or gain weight, should really be determined by your body fat composition, not the number you see on the scale. So as you can probably understand based on what I just said, weight loss is not always equivalent to fat loss. So what am I saying here? What does that mean? Your fluctuation in weight doesn't necessarily mean you lost fat. So I could be 140 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, I'm now 130 pounds, but my body fat may not have changed very much. So all that tells me is that I did lose weight, but I've held on to body fat, which is something that we are looking to actually adjust and drop, not just pounds on the scale. So that's weight. I do want you to follow it. I do want it to fall in a range that is considered healthy, but I don't want this to be the overall marker of your fitness and your health. The next number you're gonna see beyond weight is skeletal muscle mass, another super important number. So we've got body fat and skeletal muscle mass. I want those two to be more important than the overall weight for you, because again, putting all that together will tell you what you're made of. So this represents the amount of muscle you have on your body. Now, it's not gonna tell you how much you can lift in the gym. If I have 25 pounds of muscle, it's not gonna say that I'm the strongest person and can lift the most weight when I am working out. It's just telling me how much of my body is made up of muscle. Muscle has a very positive impact though on your metabolism, your health, disease prevention, and basically overall appearance. And I feel like this is the area where most people don't understand it the best. We know about fat, we know about weight, but skeletal muscle mass is a little bit more confusing. So one thing I challenge you to do when you're done with this talk is I want you to go online and I want you to Google fat versus muscle. A big misconception out there is that 5 pounds of muscle and 5 pounds of fat are the same because they are 5 pounds. The truth is the weight is the same, that's accurate. They're both 5 pounds. What's not true is the amount of space they take up. Why does that matter? I would say that most people out there are looking to be leaner, fitter, tighter, more toned, take up less space. in your jeans, in the room, wherever you are, you want to be leaner, more compact, tight, and fit, right? So if you look at online what 5 pounds of muscle looks like compared to 5 pounds of fat, you're gonna notice 5 pounds of fat takes up more space, will appear bigger in physical appearance. So I don't really want to carry around 5 pounds of fat when I could be carrying around 5 pounds of muscle. The trick here is when I get on the scale, it's still gonna say the same thing, but I could look drastically different. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that the physical appearance of muscle and skeletal mass is very different than the physical appearance of body fat. All right, so as we lose body fat, essentially, we might see a small change in our skeletal or muscle mass percentage. That's essentially the goal here. What we are trying to achieve when we exercise, when we are trying to manipulate our body composition, we're trying to drop our body fat and maybe even increase our muscle mass. So there's a lot of ways that can look. That can mean maintaining the same actual overall weight, but switching out fat for muscle. Might be maintaining the same amount of muscle, but just dropping our fat, which would be the goal I would challenge you to have. And then once again, if you are able to drop fat and add muscle, then you're a rock star. That's actually what we really want to do. Initially, body fat loss, you'll notice small gains on skeletal muscle mass will come next, okay? So we've talked about body fat, we've talked about weight, and we've talked about skeletal muscle mass. You will get all the results of that on an in-body scan when you're looking at body composition. But what else are you gonna see when you get those results, or when you're considering why body composition is important? There's one number that comes through. It's your metabolic rate. So people are like, yeah, I've heard of this. I think it's important. I don't really understand it. Let me tell you a little bit about what it is. Your metabolic rate is basically an estimate of your daily caloric needs based on your muscle mass of your body. So I think we've probably heard muscle burns more calories than fat. So somebody who has a higher skeletal muscle mass, like let's think of a really fit man who has lots of muscle mass, they seem to be able to eat a lot more throughout the day than somebody who is a little bit more obese and carrying a little bit more body fat. The reason being is this skeletal muscle mass is driving up this number we're talking about, your metabolic rate. So your metabolic rate is a value, so it'll come across in calories. That number is telling you the calories your body needs in order to perform normal functions at rest. So normal functions, I don't mean like walking around, vacuuming your house, going to get the mail. I mean things like digestion, pumping the blood throughout your whole body, breathing in and out, doing all of the work that it does at rest on its own that we have no control over. It requires calories to do this. So the number you see that comes across on your results is a metabolic rate. It's going to give you the number of calories it takes based on your muscle mass, your personal results, to maintain your body at rest. All right, so why do we care about this number? Again, you heard me already mention to you that the more muscle mass you're carrying around, the higher that number, that calorie value is going to be, meaning your body's going to require more calories to maintain those functions. Okay, when we talk about metabolic rate, I want to know if that is my caloric need for the day. So when that number comes through, is that saying, okay, that's how many calories I need to eat in a day? No. In fact, that is the minimum you should be taking in every day. So I would also like you to think about, or at least remember, that whatever that number is, that should be the minimum amount of calories that you take in every single day. As soon as you go less than that number, less than your basic metabolic rate, your body's gonna find a way to outsmart you. It needs those calories to continue to function. So if you're not giving it the calories, it will find the calories. What do I mean by that? It will start using up muscle if it has to, breaking down muscle and using it as calories to perform these functions at rest. So you want to be very certain to give it what it needs just to maintain these basic functions. So your calorie consumption should absolutely never be below your basic metabolic rate. that will significantly impact your muscle gain, your fat loss. So this is that concept that less isn't always more. When people think about, oh, you know what? Someone told me that I need to eat less to lose weight. All right, there is a big concept there. That is not the whole picture, so less is not more. If someone says, all right, I'm gonna eat 1,500 calories a day. I used to eat 2,000 calories. If I eat 1,500 calories, I am giving up 500 calories a day, I should lose weight. That's one thing. But if you think, well, why don't I just eat 1,000 calories and lose even more weight and lose weight faster? If 1,500 helps me lose weight, why wouldn't eating only 1,000 calories help me as well? Well, it's for this reason that I just mentioned. Would you lose weight? Very possibly. Would it be a good weight to lose? Would it be healthy? Possibly not. Again, most diets below 1,200 calories are not recommended, and that is because it's on average, most people have a basic metabolic rate of around 1,200 or higher, which means that's about the amount of calories it takes just to be here, existing, doing the things our body needs to do to keep us upright and going. So keep that in mind when you see that number, and I would strive to have that be the minimum calorie intake that you have every day. Keeping in mind with that, we're all active individuals. We are all actively and proactive about becoming healthier, becoming fitter. If you are actively trying to become more fit and healthy, you're likely engaging in some form of physical fitness. If you're taking an Orange Theory class, for example, and you have your splats or your calorie burn, as a result, you know the exact amount of calories you just burned during that workout. Those are what we're gonna call active calories. Just as important to note as that metabolic rate. Those active calories are not included in that metabolic rate. So your body just burned even more calories. All right, let's move on. We got some jams here. Okay, next number, segmental lean analysis. This is a percentage. This is where you get the grid of the little person, and it tells you basically how much muscle mass you have in different parts of your body, your arms, both legs, and your trunk. The amount of that muscle mass is gonna come back as a percentage, and it's going to show you how your muscle mass compares to the ideal for your gender, your age, and your size. So basically, what am I saying by this? I'm trying to say that number is telling you, do you have enough muscle mass to meet your needs, and are you balanced? So if you get this little picture of this person and you have 89% in your right arm, but 80% in your left arm, right there, you can notice there's an imbalance. So that balance is important because we can then manipulate our workout, our exercise regimen to help rebalance us and shift that back. The other reason this is important is it's a percentage of telling you if you have enough muscle mass. So 89%, pretty good, but we want to be as close to 100 or higher than 100 if we can. So you know how much more muscle mass you should be putting on. When you increase this number as high as you can, it improves your metabolism and your overall health. So like I said, 100% or higher. So if you look at that number, it's basically a key to saying, how can I boost my metabolism? If I have 75% in my legs and I have 100% in my arms, what I would think about here is next time I go to work out, maybe I should focus a little bit on building some muscle mass in my legs, trying to drive that 75% up closer to 100%. Therefore, I'm gonna build muscle there, put more muscle on, my metabolism is gonna increase, likely my metabolic rate is gonna increase, and I'm going to be able to consume more calories, and I'm gonna have an overall better fitness level and health. So, as I mentioned, how do you use this information? If you notice an imbalance on your person, in your results, next time you go to exercise, I challenge you to start off on the weaker side to help develop strength there so that you can balance out those numbers a little bit better. Okay, so So now I want to talk to you about what change can I expect. We just talked about all the results, what they look like, what they come through. So now you're like, all right, so what do I do with this information? Well, according to the Society of Sports Nutrition from 2017, they state that 4 weeks is the minimum amount of time for which you should be able to expect to see a meaningful change in fat mass and lean mass. But the important key here is that statement, 4 weeks time and seeing a meaningful change, is only true if you're participating in regular exercise and eating a nutrient-dense diet. Reason I'm saying that, you're not eating the nutrients, you're not exercising, you may be losing weight because your muscles are atrophying, you're just putting on body fat, and therefore your composition isn't necessarily better. So the change you're gonna see is likely not gonna be optimal or desirable, to be honest. So there are a wide range of studies out there on how quickly can you lose body fat and put on muscle mass. Different sources have different numbers, but most studies report seeing a meaningful change over 8 to 12 weeks. So if you do one analysis and 8 weeks later you do another analysis, you should see a shift in body fat and skeletal muscle mass. So body fat, how do we manipulate our body fat? It's known that aerobic and resistance training can both affect your total body fat percentage, which is great, right? Because most people do a little bit of everything, and we also don't want to be countering the work that we're doing. So aerobic and resistance training can both manipulate your body fat. Depending on your goals, that exercise regimen may be tailored differently. When you're participating in consistent exercise, you can expect about a 1 to 3% body fat loss over that 8 to 12 weeks period of time. Now again, that's a consistent exercise program. So something like HIIT, interval training, resistance training, aerobics, swimming. I mean, there are a number of things out there you can do, but the key is regularity to that exercise program and that diet that we just kind of mentioned. Weight. So what's an appropriate amount of weight you should see? What change should you see in time? Essentially, weight loss of about 0.07%. So that's a little less than 1% per week is recommended for sustainable progress. Now you're like, well, what does that even mean? Sustainable progress over time means that the weight you lose will stay off. That's what I mean by sustainable. So go back to the beginning where we talked about losing weight by eating 1,000 calories a day. You essentially think your weight loss should be greater, which is possibly true. But the question that comes up, is that sustainable? No. So we want to take gradual change and transition our body composition safely so that the changes we make are sustained. What that means, I think a lot of people have heard that about 1 pound a week of weight loss is appropriate, and that is also consistent with this idea that 1 pound a week should be a sustainable change, especially according to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Weight Management, which you can also refer to their websites if you want further information about appropriate weight loss and so forth. If you want to lose more or you have underlying health conditions, like if you're looking to say, man, I just really want to lose more than 1 pound a week, then my recommendation would be to please reach out to a registered dietitian and or medical doctor so they can oversee your weight loss greater than that. So that's weight. Skeletal muscle mass. So how do we change this? What do we expect to see in our skeletal muscle mass over time? So if you have that calorie deficit and you're participating in resistance training and you have that optimal nutrition. So when I say optimal nutrition, let me just put a little side note in here. That means nutrient-dense foods. Calories are calories, but nutrients aren't always present when calories are, right? I can eat a pound of licorice. It's gonna give me calories. I'm not sure how much nutrients are there in the licorice. So that may give me the calories I'm trying to get for my metabolic rate, but I'm not necessarily filling myself with nutrition, the nutrients and minerals that are important for your health as well. So keep that in mind. So if you have a calorie deficit, you're eating a nutrient-dense diet, and you're participating in resistance training, then those are gonna be the key components to basically maintaining your lean muscle mass, especially during a time that you're trying to lose body fat. It is natural that when you start to lose some weight, body fat will drop. A little shift will happen with your skeletal mass as well, and that's normal, especially in the beginning. The goal would be, or something that I would challenge you to try for, is to maintain your muscle mass as you drop your body fat down. If you're trying to exceed that, as I mentioned earlier, even better would be drop your body fat but put muscle on. So you could essentially stay the same weight the whole time, but you're replacing fat with muscle, and you're gonna have a different overall composition to your body. If you're looking for specific guidelines on how much resistance training you need to do to reach the goals you're looking for to put on skeletal muscle mass, I would recommend you going to the American College of Sports Medicine to see exactly what type and amount of resistance training you should be doing for those gains in that lean mass. Changes in lean mass will likely be small over time. So you will actually see probably a difference in body fat percentage, a greater difference in body fat percentage than you will see in a muscle mass gain. It does take a little while. It is totally doable, but just keep in mind you'll expect a smaller incremental change there than you will with your body fat or maybe even your overall weight. All right, so the metabolic rate, how will that change? As your skeletal mass increases, your metabolic rate increases as well. We already talked about that. The more muscle mass you have on your body, the more it's going to more calories your body is going to require to maintain your body. So you want to look in a small change in skeletal muscle mass and a small change in that metabolic rate over those periods of time between your two measurements. So you're probably thinking by now, okay, Kai, this is great, super helpful. Now I know what these results mean, but can you tell me how I change this? What can I do? I have a few ideas for you. So starting off, I'm going to quickly label them and we'll go through each one. I want you to think about setting SMART goals. SMART is an acronym that I'm going to go through so you know what that means. We're going to talk about that in a second. I want you to plan your workouts ahead of time. We're building for success here. If you can, I recommend you establishing some form of accountability or workout partner or some social support. Research shows that people that are socially involved with their workouts are that much more accountable and they participate and show up that much more. Learn about energy balance. So I'll get there in a second. Prioritize a nutrient-dense diet. We were just going over that a little bit ago. It's super important that the calories you're taking in are good calories. Stay hydrated. I can't emphasize it enough. We'll talk about it in a second. Sleep seems so silly. You're like, how does sleep have anything to do with muscles and body fat and weight? Well, I promise you it does, and we'll get there in just a second. And then remember the other benefits of regular exercise. When you're trying to think through all these details, if you can keep in mind the benefits of regular exercise, it's going to help you be more successful overall. So let's go through these. First one, set a SMART goal. If you have a piece of paper, write this down. SMART. The S in SMART stands for specific. We all say, oh, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, make a goal. Like, truly set a number. If your goal isn't about weight loss and it's about performance, I want to run a half marathon. Be specific. When do you want to run that by? Next week, next year, sometime in 2020? But I don't care. People who write down their goals also achieve them a lot more than people that don't. So set a specific goal. How much weight do you want to lose? By when? The second letter in SMART is M. M stands for measurable. I kind of touched on this in specific as well, but it has to be measurable. Don't just say I want to be more fit. What does fit look like? Is that a number on the scale? Is that a body fat percentage? Is that a size of clothing? You need to have something you can measure. If you want to say I want to be a better runner, well, what does that mean? Measure that. Does that mean you run faster? Does that mean you don't have to stop and walk? You have to put a value to what you are trying to change. The A in SMART stands for attainable. So, all right, guys, we have to be pretty realistic here. I love to run. I'd like to say I'm a pretty good runner. Chances are I'm not going to the Olympics this year for running. So I can't exactly set that as a goal. I gotta be a little realistic here. And you should too, because two reasons. Here's a little personal tidbit if you take a page out of my book. I set attainable goals for two reasons. One, I want to reach them. You should too. And two, I don't want to feel like a failure. Every goal that I reach makes me feel like I'm crushing it. So if you hit that goal, awesome. Move on to the next one. Hit that goal. There, I've got 2 goals I just hit. Move on to the next one. Hit that goal. This is when I make small, specific, measurable goals. Now, if your goal is me, like I said, I'm here and I want to go to the Olympics for running. I know that's probably not that possible, but maybe I don't start there. Maybe I say, you know what? I want to run a half marathon first, and then I want to run a marathon, and then I want to run that marathon in 4 hours, and then I want to see if I can run it in Boston qualifying times, and then I want to see if I can be in the top 20%, and you climb this ladder of goals. If your one goal is going to the Olympics, you're gonna miss it and you're gonna fail and you are going to want to give up. So set yourself up for success. Set goals that are attainable. When you attain them, man, it feels good. You can mark it off, you can move on to the next one, and I promise you that mentality will serve you way more than trying to get here right out of the gate. All right, R, relevant. It has to apply to you, your life, what you're allowed to do, what you're capable of. I like to think of this right now in our current situation. We are all at home, we are quarantined, we have stay-at-home parameters in place. So, am I gonna probably become the best bodybuilder that I can right now? No. I don't have the weights, the equipment, the things I need to be able to do that because I'm at home. It's not a relevant goal right now for me. So it has to be relevant. It has to have a purpose for you. Like, why are you doing that? Why would that be a goal for me right now? Maybe the goal there is becoming more fit, but again, I need to make sure it's a relevant goal for where I'm at in my life right now. And then finally, the last letter in SMART is T. That stands for timely. It has to be a goal that you can actually achieve over time. I don't really want to say, at some point in time in my life, I want to be fit. That's not very timely. So your goal has to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, but it also has to be timely. So you have to be able to put a time frame on it. That time frame has to make sense. All right, so that is how you set a SMART goal. So anytime you think of that goal, write it down. Answer to yourself what the S is, what the M is, the A, R, and the T. Have that right there in front of you so you know what you're working towards. Okay, so we're gonna talk about planning your workouts. Make a schedule. Right behind me up here, I have a calendar. That's what I call my schedule. It is on the wall. Write down my workouts. I know what I'm doing every day. So I like to plan my workouts on a Sunday. If you want to write it down, great. If not, no big deal. If you participate in workout regimens where you need to sign up for classes, sign up as early as you can. Commit to them then. And then if you write in an agenda, you keep a calendar, put it in your calendar like it's an appointment that you cannot miss. Then on top of that, not only are you planning for it, and not only do I want you to write it down like it's an appointment, if you need to make arrangements to allow for that to happen, if you need to get a babysitter, if you need to adjust your work schedule, I don't know what it's gonna take, but if there is something that needs to be done in order to make that workout happen, make the arrangements from the get-go. So if that means get a babysitter, call that babysitter on Sunday and say, hey, on Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m., I need you here. I have a workout that I'm going to. Okay, and then if you're somebody who works out early in the morning, that's me. I'm the person that gets up. I can get up at 4 a.m. and work out, but man, those 8 o'clock evening workouts, woo, tough. So 5 a.m. early morning workouts, I would say one of the hardest things is getting out of bed, getting dressed, and then getting there, getting started. One way to plan your workout in this way, put your clothes out the night before so that you don't have to think there is not a step in the way that's going to make a challenge or make it more difficult for you to meet that planned workout. Okay, establish accountability. There are lots of ways you can take this here. You can find a friend, a partner, a significant other, husband, wife, a coach, somebody online Find some way to make yourself accountable. Join a group, commit to a race, sign up for it, where you actually have to pay money to sign up for it. Some way to establish accountability so that you know you are going to stick with that goal. So right now, special unique time, we are all at home. We are having to find ways to work out in our homes. So there are live workouts all over the internet right now that you can join. Join those. Hold yourself accountable to that. Meet a friend virtually to do a workout together over FaceTime, or both of you take the same live workout at the same time. That way you'll know you're not alone. You're in it together. Tell a coach if you need to, hey, I'm trying to do this. I want you to know these are my goals. The minute we speak our goals, we feel accountable to meet them. All right, so then moving on from here, learn about energy balance. So when we talk about energy balance, this refers to calories consumed and calories burned. So that means your metabolic rate plus your activity. There is a wide range of dietary approaches that are equally effective for improving your body composition, but one of the biggest things to know or learn about is energy balance. How you balance that, what you take in versus what you burn in the day to manipulate towards your specific goals, whether that's fat loss, muscle gain, performance. So different ways of establishing putting together your dietary approach are gonna be different based on the goal you're working towards. So you might think, well, how do I know how many calories to reduce based on my goal? As I already talked about, slow weight loss programs protect your exercise performance compared to faster weight loss. So what do I mean by that? If I am trying to lose the pound a week like we talked about, one, I already told you that's more sustainable. So that pound, I'm more likely to keep it off if I take a nice, slow, steady approach to weight loss. But not only that pound a week missing from my body isn't going to fatigue me so much that I can't or don't want to show up to my workouts. If I create such a calorie deficit, I'm going to feel exhausted and I'm not going to want to work out. And not only am I not going to want to, when I do, my performance is going to be hindered. I'm not going to have the calories I need to give what I need to that workout. So reductions of more than 500 calories a day, or eating a total daily caloric intake less than 1,200 calories may actually lead to nutrient deficiencies and then just overall hindrance of your progress. Nutrient deficiencies will also affect your ability to drop body fat. Your body is smart, so if it detects an imbalance, it will find ways to make up for it, and it's not going to want to let go of stuff if it feels threatened. So when you deprive it of the things it needs, your body will feel threatened and it's not going to want to give up anything. So you got to keep feeding it the things it needs. It learns to trust you, and then it'll allow you to drop that weight nice and slowly. If you still need ideas, you can also food journal. If you're not sure how to do that, MyFitnessPal, you can see the food you're taking in, get an idea of the calories you're consuming. And then if you still need more guidance on what your specific calorie goals should be or how much you should be restricting, you should be talking to a registered dietitian. They can help tailor your goals or your diet for your goals. So that's energy balance. I challenge you to look into that. As we already talked about, what do we do here? The least you can do is prioritize a nutrient-dense diet. So finding foods that are going to be beneficial to you, that your body needs, that is full of nutrients and minerals. So you should be consuming a wide variety of nutrient-dense foods across all food groups. Again, I'm not a registered dietitian. I can't go through a lot of details about exactly what that looks like. I understand, I recognize, I am very aware there are a number of diets out there, number of approaches from a dietary standpoint to weight loss. I recommend that you do a little research, but the research that is out there does recommend that you have a variety of foods from all food groups, and that will allow you to take in nutrient-dense foods, which consist of vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that your body needs. If you aren't very familiar with how nutrients and minerals affect your body, I just want you to know that it's not just on performance. So when you take in nutrients and minerals and things like that, it's not just because our body needs them. There are very important parts of your body that affect things like energy, sleep, hydration, performance. And a lot of these nutrients and these minerals affect hormones, affect your muscles, affect body fat, affect brain function, affect fatigue. So you need to be consuming the foods that have the nutrients your body needs to function well, so that when you're stressing it with these exercise programs, it is okay. It still feels safe. It still feels like it's in control. It does not feel threatened. So fresh fruit, vegetables, clean proteins like fish, lean meat, poultry, beans, healthy fats like nuts, seeds, avocados. You can look, there are lists everywhere about what healthy sources of these foods are, but you should try to consume all of them. A colorful plate is going to be your friend as well. So again, your goals, your diet, everything you're doing, you should be focusing on sustainability. So if you've chosen a diet that is not sustainable over a long period of time, chances are you're not going to be as successful as you would like. So whatever changes you make in your diet, make sure there's something you can sustain. So my recommendation, small changes, make one change at a time. Don't go cold turkey. Don't go from eating cake, potato chips, and 3 Diet Cokes a day to trying to eat lettuce, carrots, and water. You will go crazy. Maybe that is your end result, but take small steps towards that goal. And then, as always, whole foods always are going to be more beneficial to you over any processed foods. That's why we say shop the outside, the perimeter of any grocery store. You're going to find your healthiest food items there. Hydration, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but it is super important for energy production, cardiac function, temperature regulation, for skin. When you're dehydrated, you're gonna feel tired, you're gonna fatigue more easily, and you are not gonna be able to perform in your workouts at the level you would like. So the general guidelines for hydration say that women should have about 91 ounces for women. That's an average. Men, 125 ounces or more. Again, that's an average recommendation, but I just want you to look and think about whether or not you're getting that amount of hydration as it is. You should hydrate 2 to 4 hours before you exercise, and taking 7 to 10 of those ounces about 10 to 30 minutes before exercise, so that you feel hydrated enough, but not overhydrated during your workout. If you're somebody that's like, well, you know what, I'm just a go-getter, so if I need to drink 91 ounces, I'm just gonna knock out 60 of them right now. That's actually not better. It overwhelms your kidneys a little bit, and your body doesn't know how to handle that much fluid, so you're gonna just eliminate that quickly. So slow hydration over the course of the day is very important for muscle recovery. It helps you reduce soreness, it improves your flexibility, it helps accelerate your body for your next workout. So keeping that as a slow, steady state with your hydration. And then another concept, our second to last one, how we can make changes, prioritize your sleep. There is a strong association between inadequate sleep and chronic conditions like obesity, depression, inflammation, diabetes, all sorts of things. So your sleep should be very important. When you're sleeping, your body is at rest, and it is focusing on repairing the muscles you broke down during the day. It is replacing, refilling you back up for that next day. So the recommendation for sleep is 7 to 9 hours each day for optimal health. There is a link between regular exercise and quality of sleep. So what does that mean? People who exercise regularly tend to also have a higher quality sleep. That means they sleep harder, they sleep better. That rest feels better when they wake up. In fact, exercise is shown to improve sleep latency, daytime sleepiness, sleep efficiency, so how quickly you fall asleep, your deep sleep that you're in, and the quality of your sleep. So it's really, really important that you keep that exercise going, but know you're gonna get a benefit of better sleep. So you need to also prioritize that sleep in return. It is a way of your body repairing itself. If you're not a pro at this, if this is an area you struggle in, then try to establish something called sleep hygiene. Come up with a routine, exercise, Monitor your caffeine intake, that affects sleep and quality of sleep. Choose a bedtime. So if you go to sleep at all different times, choose a bedtime. Get rid of the television, the electronics in your room so that when you go to bed, your brain knows, oh, time to sleep, and it turns on to sleep mode that much faster. If you go in your room and your body does not know whether it's time to watch TV, read a book, search the internet, or go to sleep, it's gonna have a delayed time falling asleep. Limit your light exposure. So make sure you've got good shades. You have darkness in there. Your body knows it's nighttime. Make it feel like nighttime when you're sleeping. And then something that I absolutely love, a technology curfew. There is so much information out there on the effects of the technology that we have in our face all the time and how that stimulates your brain and your body to be awake and just alert, even when we're trying to sleep. So establish that sleep curfew as a way to prioritize your sleep. Your technology curfew as a way to prioritize your sleep. And then finally, as I kind of talked about, while you're doing all these other things, I really want you to remember the benefits of regular exercise. So it reduces the risk of many adverse health outcomes, and there are so many physical and mental benefits of exercise. I probably could give a whole nother hour-long talk on the benefits of exercise. It's a great way to improve your long-term health. So if you need help remembering why we exercise, how we exercise, what are we doing, hopefully some of the things we just talked about help you understand a little bit more what you're working on. Obviously, exercise feels good. We all want to feel good. And I think I'm safe to say everybody wants to look good too. So if you have an understanding and you're measuring your body composition, then you are in control of what you're doing for your body every single day. And I'll tell you what, I don't control anybody else's body, so I know the best thing I can do is control my own. Get regular scans. Pay attention to what you're putting in your body, to the effort you're giving, to eliminate calories, to work hard to try to make the changes. I promise you, if you institute some of these things we just talked about, you might be able to achieve the goals you've been looking to achieve a little bit sooner, or at least a little bit easier, and you might feel more in control and better about the work you're doing. Either way, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was informative. While you guys are at home, stay safe, be well. Again, look up these pieces of information. If you have questions, please shoot them to our social media pages, and I'm happy to answer what I can. Otherwise, reach out to somebody that you know and you trust if you feel like you need more information on this subject. It's been an honor talking to you guys. Everybody, be well. Can't wait to see you next time. Take care.